Hey everyone, I'm David McKnight, author of The Power of Zero. If you're thinking about moving money between your IRAs, you really need to understand one critical IRS rule, because if you get it wrong, it could cost you thousands in unnecessary taxes and penalties. Today we're delving into the One IRA Rollover per Year rule, what it is, how it works, and the traps you absolutely want to avoid. Let's start with the basics. An IRA rollover happens when you take money from one IRA and move it to another IRA. You're not cashing it out, you're just transferring it. Simple enough, right? Well, not so fast. There are actually two ways to get this done. The first way is to do a direct transfer, also known as a trustee-to-trustee transfer. In this case, your financial institution sends the money directly from your old IRA to your new IRA. The money never so much as touches your hands. The second way is to do an indirect rollover. This is where the money comes to you first, maybe by check or deposit into your bank account, and then you manually redeposit that money into another IRA within 60 days. It's that second one, the indirect rollover, that's subject to the one rollover per year rule. So, what is the one rollover per year rule and how does it work? According to IRS guidelines, you are only allowed one IRA to IRA rollover every 12 months. And that applies per person, not per account. So if you had 3 different IRAs, you could only do a single rollover between any 2 of them using the indirect method. That's it, you're done. That's all you're allowed to do for the next 12 months, no second chances. Let me repeat that because a lot of people make this mistake. It doesn't matter how many IRA accounts you have. You can only do one indirect rollover per year, end of story. And if you violate that rule, the consequences aren't pretty. If you do more than one indirect rollover in a 12-month period, the second rollover becomes fully taxable at your highest marginal tax bracket. If you're under age 59 and a half, you would get hit with an additional 10% early withdrawal penalty. Furthermore, if you try to deposit that second distribution into an IRA, the IRS could see it as an excess contribution, which comes with its own set of penalties. Let me illustrate all this with an example. Let's say John has 2 IRAs, one at Fidelity and one at Vanguard. On January 1st, he withdraws $50,000 from his Fidelity IRA and rolls it into his Vanguard IRA within the 60-day window. So far, so good. But then in June, he decides to roll $25,000 from Vanguard into a new IRA at Schwab. He does it in the same way, withdraws the money and plans to redeposit it within 60 days. Big mistake. That second rollover, disqualified. The IRS will treat that $25,000 as a taxable distribution at John's highest marginal tax bracket. If John is in the 22% tax bracket, he owes $5,500 in taxes. If he's under 59 and a half, he'll also get hit with a $2,500 early withdrawal penalty. So that's an $8,000 mistake on a $25,000 transfer. He just lost 32% of that IRA. Suboptimal. Now here's the good news. You can avoid all of that drama by simply using direct transfers. In a trustee-to-trustee transfer, the money never touches your hands. It goes straight from one institution to the other, and best of all, you can do this as many times as you want per year. No limits. You could do 5 direct transfers in a year and the IRS won't care. Why? Because there's no chance of that money accidentally becoming a taxable event. So if you're working with a financial advisor, always ask, can we do this as a direct transfer? It's the safest, cleanest method with the fewest strings attached. Another place where people get tripped up is when they take a distribution from their Roth IRA with the full intent of paying it back within the allowable 60-day window. What most people don't realize is that if you decide to pay that Roth IRA distribution back within that 60-day time frame, then that counts as your one IRA rollover per year. If you wanted to do an indirect rollover from one IRA to another IRA later on, you'd have to wait another 12 months before doing so. Another common question I get is, does the one IRA rollover rule apply to Roth conversions? If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a huge fan of Roth conversions, so this is an important thing to know when it comes to executing your strategy. The short answer is no. Roth conversions are not subject to the one rollover per year limitation. You can do as many Roth conversions in a year as you like. But remember, Roth conversions are taxable events, so make sure you have a strategy where you can stretch that tax obligation out over as many years as possible. Also remember that you want to complete your strategy before tax rates go up for good. That's most likely to happen in 2034 when the would-be extension of the Trump tax cuts expire. Here's one other question that people often bring up. What if you're rolling money from a 401k to an IRA? Great news. The one rollover rule does not apply to rollovers from employer-sponsored plans like 401ks, 403bs, or 457s into IRAs. You can do multiple 401k rollovers in a year if needed. Just be careful if you plan to move those IRA funds again later. The 12-month clock starts on the day you receive the funds from your IRA, not the day you redeposit them into the new IRA. So, if you take a distribution on July 1st, 2025, you can't do another rollover until July 1st, 2026. This catches a lot of people off guard, especially if you're trying to coordinate multiple transfers or withdrawals for different reasons. In summary, here are the main points you need to remember when it comes to the one IRA rollover per year rule. You can only do one indirect IRA rollover per 12 months. This applies to all your IRAs combined, not per account. Use trustee-to-trustee transfers whenever possible. They're unlimited. Redepositing Roth IRA distributions within the allowable 60-day window does count as your one IRA rollover per year, so be sure to factor that into your plan. Roth conversions and 401k to IRA rollovers are exempt from the rule. And finally, violating the rule can lead to taxable income penalties and excess contribution problems. Look, IRA rollovers can be tricky, and if you don't navigate them properly, they can cost you a lot of money in unnecessary taxes and penalties. But if you understand the one IRA rollover per year rule and use direct transfers wherever possible, you'll be in great shape. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more smart strategies to maximize your retirement. Got questions about IRAs or rollovers? Drop them in the comments. I'll respond to as many of them as I can. I'm David McKnight. Thanks for watching.